What's up, everybody? I hope your weekend is going well. Today, I want to go into some of the ASFX entries that presented last week, specifically on the 1 hour time frame. I have a lot of guys that come to me asking, how can I get started trading when I have a full-time job? It's probably one of the top 3 most common questions that I get in my email and in my DM. Over time, we've found that the most successful part-time traders are normally swing trading, not day trading. The difference being they're looking at a higher time frame chart, either a 1 hour, a 4 hour, or a daily time frame to take trades over multiple days that don't need to be actively managed. That's simply put what the difference between swing trading and day trading is. Now, one of the systems that we teach at ASFX, it's the A1 entry. This is a breakout trade that we've back tested, and with the indicators and questions that I teach you to use to find these signals, we've proven it profitable in the past, so we can anticipate that if we follow these rules properly in the future, this system will continue to be profitable. So today I'm going to show you a few A1 entries that happened last week. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name's Austin. I appreciate you being here. If you find value in this video, whether you're in ASFX and it helps you understand the A1 better, or if you're not in ASFX and maybe it gets your brain turning a little bit about the questions that you should be asking yourself before you take an entry, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe, because really that's the only thing that we need to help spread this value to other traders in the community. That's really the only reason I'm doing it. We had a really good Saturday. Me and Riley went out to breakfast, went shopping in Hyde Park. It's this really nice area of Tampa that we seem to be in all the time. I like it because it's kind of bougie, and I like that more than I like the areas in St. Pete that we've sometimes found ourselves in that aren't so nice. So as we're getting to know the local area in Florida, now being here almost a year, it's nice to have our spots to go to. But anyway, let's talk about the charts. So first, we're going to start with CHFJPY. So the first thing that we're going to look at is CHFJPY, Swiss franc Japanese yen. We're going to focus specifically on 2 JPY quote pairs, this being one of them. The next one we're going to look at is EURJPY. You're going to see how these 2 breakouts happened at almost the same time. Now, we're going to talk about the candle formation. We're going to talk about the level that it broke out past. But I want you to understand that the way the A1 system is built, it's not just about the candle formation. You have questions that you have to ask yourself before you identify that this is a potential trade, and you have to use, more importantly than the candle formation, the TDI to qualify or disqualify the breakout. And that's what I really go into in the course. But today I want to show you first how I would identify the initial zone that we're looking for it to break through before we would take a trade long. So you can see here, being Monday, separated from Friday, separated from Tuesday with these vertical dotted lines, right? So Monday, we set a move off the 50 EMA to create the high of week at the end of the New York session going into the overnight Asian session. Now, this is CHFJPY, so you can anticipate that it might move during the Asian session because it's a JPY pair. But it doesn't. Overnight, it really consolidates in that high of day zone. That tells me that it is more significant than not, because we're seeing a lot of consolidation in that zone. I know that if it is broken, we'll probably be able to use it as support for a move higher. Right now, we would not want to jump into it until that zone is broken. I talked about that in yesterday's video, waiting for horizontal levels to be broken before you trade them. Some people will try to get in early and get in long down here. That's going to get you burned sometimes, because if the level isn't broken yet, how do you know that it's actually going to happen? You're forecasting, not reacting. Here, we're reacting, entering after the zone is broken. We're confirming this entry with a proper TDI value. The next thing that we want to see after the entry candle closes is we want the next bar to continue to move in the direction that the trade should go in our favor. Here, we want it to move higher. So you see how the next bar is bullish? That's a good sign. And even the next bar is bullish. So 1 hour at a time for the first 2 hours, it's saying to stay in the trade. At that point, you're then just really watching the 8 EMA, because if that is broken, that's going to be the first flag that they throw in here to tell us that this trade might be done. But even there, with a break of the 8 EMA, that doesn't necessarily mean the move is over. A break of the red 21 EMA is a much more significant sign that the trend is changing. So here you can see through that first day of holding this trade through Tuesday from 6 a.m. until about 5 p.m., so 10, 11 hours later, you're getting about 54 pips of rise. Your initial risk here is about 30. So you're already over 1R in the first day from taking this breakout trade, this A1 entry. And again, this is for people that are looking for more of that swing trading. Let me set it and check it in a few hours kind of thing. Not set it and forget it. I'm never a big believer in that. I think that's not how you should trade because we're talking about your real money. Never forget it, but set it and let it breathe, let it do what it's supposed to do. It's easy to say, but in the moment, these candles are slow because it's minute by minute, hour by hour, and you have to be patient to just sit there and react based on candle closures, not what it's doing mid-candle. How many people, right here, you see how it's pulling down through the 21 EMA? How many people would get out there as it's pulling down through the 21? Only to have seen it then close bullish back above the 21. So it's about being patient, especially as it's coming down against you. So here in the Asian session on Wednesday, now we're moving into the London session Wednesday. In that overnight session, it pulls back to the 21, which is a pretty solid level of support when you're in an uptrend, and it holds that 21 for another bullish day here on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday, pushing to the highest point that the move makes, which is about 163 pips away from the entry. So in 2 days, from a Tuesday 6 a.m. entry, by Thursday at 9 a.m., you're up 150, 160 pips, only risking 30. So it's pretty good risk reward. 5 to 1 is really solid risk reward. And again, candle by candle, this never was negative for more than a few minutes in a couple of these first candles. It never was negative after that. So you were able to close it at R multiples. That's what I teach you to do. Close some at 1R, close some at 2R, and move your stop loss up. So you're just enjoying this ride until it tells you to turn around. Some people could even be holding this trade into the weekend because it hasn't come down lower. So what I would do is, like, for example, here you would be up 3.5R at that point. Your stop loss would come to the most recent higher low, which would be this pin. So this black dotted line would then be your stop loss. Now, as it pushes higher into Thursday, you could move the stop up here to the overnight high right there. So your stop can be in profit. You can be closing a piece of the trade. That way, if it does come back down, you get stopped out and you move on to the next one. So that's the first A1 entry I want to show you. That, again, that's a 6 a.m. New York time breakout. You could take that trade before you go to work and check it after work. Check it on your phone while you're at work. That's the beautiful thing about swing trading. Here, EURJPY. Now, this is at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, another JPY pair. So let's say you saw the CHFJPY breakout close at 6 a.m. and you're like, oh, I didn't take the entry, I missed it. Well, remember that a late entry is a no entry. So you can't get in late, but you can check the other pairs that align with it. For example, here, CHFJPY, EURJPY. You check the other JPY quote pairs to see if they're potentially moving with an entry signal in the same direction. And this one was. So here, instead of a 2-candle formation, we call it a 3-candle formation. Coming off the 21 EMA, TDI value is really, really solid. You see it's in the buy zone, RSI moving up, trend line moving up. It's all moving up. Again, if we draw that high of day zone here, you could see it set in the Asian session on Tuesday right there, that pin. 2 candles to the left are not higher. 2 candles to the right are not higher. So that's good. We like that zone. The only problem with this trade is the next candle is bearish. So it actually ends up coming down. That initially would get you a little scared. Maybe this isn't going to move. We might be breaking the 8 EMA. So what I do, it's in my trading plan, I close half the trade if the next candle isn't moving in the direction that I want the trade to move. Remember in that previous trade, the next hour bar was bullish. Here, since it's bearish, I would close half the trade, but leave half the trade on to see if it then breaks the 8 EMA. If it breaks the 8, then I'm normally taking the full trade out. Here, it does not break the 8. It just consolidated at this zone for 2 hours before finally breaking out, holding the 8 EMA, and making a really nice run from Tuesday into Thursday for 150 pips, about 140 pips. Your stop here was about 25 pips, so the risk reward is actually better on this trade. It's 6R if you caught all the way up to the top of the full thing. And this trade probably would be back towards your stop loss and profit, if not tapping you out at this point on Friday. Either way, you were able to take the trade, close half of it if you were me, but still cover that half that you lost. Very, very small loss right there when it's just down a couple of pips. That's covered with the other half of the position that you let run from Wednesday into Thursday here. So there's two JPY quote pairs moving in the same direction, both with A1 breakouts, new high of week, new high of day, right before the New York session starts, 6 a.m. and then 7 a.m. Now, let's do this. If you're watching this far in the video, comment JPY. We'll just do JPY for this video. Let's get into these GBP pairs. So this is GCAD, two candle formation coming off the 21 EMA, new low of week, I believe. Let me double check that. Yep, new low of week with that candle because you can mark the low of week right here. So you can see Friday's low, Monday's low. We break through that low for the first time, maybe the second time. Here's the first break, retest, second break here at 7 a.m. on Wednesday. That's 7 a.m. New York time. The next bar does not move. You see how it's kind of like a little doji hammer candle right there? So with that, maybe you close half, maybe you just wait. Either way, you're staying in the trade. You're being patient to see if it breaks the 8. It does turn around to break the 8 EMA 2 hours into the trade, but within the next hour, it does not hit your stop loss, and it ends up holding that 8 EMA and continuing lower throughout the day Wednesday into Thursday, and then Friday is when all the GBP pairs made their real push. It fell 243 pips from the entry. Your stop loss here was only 30, so it does take a few days. You've got to be patient with it, especially if you're looking for those 4R, 3R type of moves. In the first 2 days, this only moves about 2R, and it is a little choppy even on Wednesday, but it never breaks the 8 and 21 EMA more than for an hour. You notice how here it hits that 21, comes back down in the next hour, hits the 21, comes back down in the next hour. So if you're watching it, like I said, on candle closes, it's never saying, oh, the trend is completely done. You might close some of the trade, maybe in profit here as it breaks the 21 for the first time. But if you have a piece on with the stop loss locked in profit, you can still wait another hour, see if it holds the 21. It does. All right, good. We're going to let it continue to develop. So with practice, you'll understand how to manage these trades properly. And that's, again, what we go into a lot of detail in the course, how to manage the different grades, A, B, C, how to manage the different entries, the A1, the D1, the D2. That's all covered in the course. But for today, we're just looking at A1 breakouts so you can see the similarities. Again, a 2 candle formation off the 21, solid TDI value, new low of week, new low of day. That's a good breakout. Very similar here to the 2 candle formation on CHFJPY. Let's go to GBPAUD. This goes back to last week, the 26th. So this is on Monday. Here, this 3 candle formation, very similar to what I showed you on EURJPY. See that 3 candle coming up, right? With that strong right leg coming off the 21. Look at it here on GBPAUD. Strong right leg coming down off the 21. TDI value is in the sell zone. Everything is falling over. It's not oversold. This 1 hour bar closes for a new low of day past the body low of day here. I use bodies to mark my low of day, not pins, so you can see where the strength is. So here with that body closing for a new low of day, new low of week, you know that that's what I'm looking for. Again, this is at 5 a.m. What's the next hour bar do? It falls. Next hour, it falls. Next hour, it falls. You get 3R in one day, and then it turns around and comes back up towards your entry. So what you do, as it falls at 1R, let's say you graded it a B setup. At 1.5R, right about here, you're taking off some of the trade. You're putting your stop loss in profit. Then it goes to 2R, which is right here. You're bringing the stop loss down to maybe the 1R level. You're taking more of the trade off in profit there. Goes to 2.5 or 3R. You take more off there, move the stop loss down. And then when it comes up and it stops you out in profit, you get out and you move on to the next trade. That's how you survive. I know there's a bunch of different management strategies. I know that some people won't agree with the way that I do it, but that's the way that keeps me profitable. Yes, I'm not catching all of every move. I'm not getting full out at 3R, but I'm winning more than I'm losing, and I'm not giving back winners. And those are the 2 hardest things to do in trading. So that's why my management system focuses on that. Lastly, I just want to show you another 3 candle formation. Here, Monday, 5 a.m., same time on GBPNZD. Same kind of idea here, almost 3R, 2.5R on this GBP pair. So both of them moving on Monday at the same time. So whether you were watching GA or GN, the fact that you're seeing 2 formations happen at the same time really should just have you using the checklist that we give out in the course to figure out which one had more space to move, which one was a higher probability, which one was closer to an A setup, and then putting the money there. I don't recommend taking both trades at the same time. That's like doubling down onto a bet, and if you're wrong, then you lose twice as much. pick the higher probability pair, whether it was GA or GN. You use the checklist to figure that out and put the money into that one. That's the way that you trade it, and have more confidence in that because you're seeing two GBP pairs tell you to trade in the same direction, both with good candle formations, both with good TDI values. And these are swing trades. So again, you're in at 5 a.m., you're out of this trade at lunchtime, you're at work, you wake up, have your coffee, take your trade, do your analysis. Maybe you put a position on here. You trust the stop loss. You check it while you're at lunch. You're up 60, 70, 80 pips. You're able to move the stop loss, take your piece off, and let it run. If it ends up being one of these CHFJPY trades that runs for 3 days, great. You're going to take advantage of that. If it's a quick one like this where it's just a few hours, like on GA, just a couple hours, then you're going to be able to still make money on that with this management strategy of moving your stop loss and taking profit at the R multiples. That's it. That's as easy as I would make it. I know that this might seem simple to some of you. I'm hoping that it does. And I'm hoping that it gets you interested more about how precise can you be with your entries and how can you identify simple breakouts like this and get good at them. Because if you can just slowly increase your size in these breakouts. You don't need to go trade something like this on EURNZD. Look at how choppy this is this week. Each day, up and down, no consistency there. If you can find clean trends, they're going to run for multiple days. And if you can identify entries on the higher time frame, like the 1 hour, the 4 hour, or the daily, because you can apply the A1 to any time frame, then you're able to take advantage of those multi-day runs, like I showed you on the JPY quote pairs. So I hope that this video helps. Comment down below JPY if you watched all the way through. I appreciate it very much. I hope you're having a good weekend. I hope you're excited for another profitable week coming forward. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me via email, DM me on Instagram or Twitter. Just make sure you're DMing the real me. I'm always here to help you guys in any way that I can. And I hope that this is motivating for those of you that are trading while you're working a 9 to 5 and trying to figure it out. It's doable. You just got to find a system with a set of rules that works and aligns with your beliefs and is able to be worked into your routine. So if you have questions about the ASFX systems or the A1 entry, I'm here to help. I appreciate it very much, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.